Welcome back, everyone, to the Pleb Underground. I hope you guys had at least an okay weekend, right? Some pretty interesting Bitcoin price action. A whole lot of people attributing this price action to the Epstein emails, all kinds of FUD, all this stuff. Oh gosh, all of this is noise. All of this is noise. Anyways, besides the noise, we've got some solid hopium, which it's also kind of part of the noise. But anyways, at least it's a little bit better than the garbage that we're seeing along some of our timelines, right? Let's start off by taking a look at the block height, 934,741. The Bitcoin fiat exchange, 78,780. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. I mean, unless you're still stacking, then it's like, hey, I'm getting a discount. Yeah, I'm not really feeling the pain yet, though. That's for sure. I'm still in the there's a glimmer of hope camp. Okay, so, and I know that sounds nuts, and that's okay. Anyways, let's take a look at what happened here. Some more hopium, right? Gold lost over 5 trillion in 48 hours, right? Is it time to cash? Is it time to deploy some cash in a Bitcoin? We've got some more hopium from the worst hopium dealer of them all, Tom Lee. That's right. He's got some more stuff. And over the weekend, AI discovers Bitcoin, as we all know, right? All of a sudden, it's very interesting this weekend. It was like a mix of the Epstein emails, which if you had been following this channel, you already knew about this 2 months ago. And I'm going to post a link in the show notes for the people who want to go back and watch that episode. That's right. We already told you about these emails 2 months ago. We covered all the information that Lola Leets and the Rage Tech had covered about it. So when you saw this stuff today or yesterday, it would have just been a nothing burger. So anyways, but the big thing though is AI, right? AI discovering Bitcoin. And we're going to see some of the revelations out of that one. All right, the state. We've got a whole lot of stuff happening with the state. Stable coins are a geopolitical weapon for the U.S. Maybe. We'll take a look at that. What else do we got? New SBR announcement. Germany, some gold FUD, right? Why not? Because the world is crumbling. Everything is collapsing. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows where to hold their money. Chinese gold trading platform froze 19 billion in assets, guys. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at that as well. And Bitchat, Meshcore. That's right. Decentralization. It's just happening. And you could just use these tools. It's going to be a fun show, guys. It's going to be a very fun show. Let's dive into it. Here we go. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. All right. Good morning, Silent Lamb, and good morning, Jay. Let's kick it off with the gold stuff, right? I mean, I don't know if this is hope or cope. I don't know. I just don't care, right? Like, for me, gold, it's like, I get it. It's been around for 5,000 years. I mean, like this, there's nothing new about this. It's not like somebody's showing up to the table and is like, have you heard of gold? Like, all right, whatever. Anyways, gold lost over $5 trillion. In 48 hours, that's almost 3x the total Bitcoin market cap. That's right, guys. It's like, are we really caring about this? Yeah, so I think it's just cope. Who cares? But gold just does not have the qualities that Bitcoin has going into the future. Granted, I understand its qualities in the current context, and I'm not saying that gold is just absolute garbage. It has its use case. However, I prefer the qualities of Bitcoin. That's all. It's kind of interesting because gold and silver weren't really acting like a store of value at the end of last week. Just saying. Yeah, exactly, Silent Lamb. It is what it is, you know. But it's like for some reason, right? We got to cope about it. Yeah, we have to cope about it. That's right. Bitcoin's going to succeed. Hey, good morning, Bitcoin Beacon. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at that. All right. Yeah. Well, $5 trillion loss. Okay. I guess we're so early makes me feel better. Why not? Why not? Okay, here we go. Let's get some Hopium out of one of these more technical accounts. If you've been following along, you know that I've been scaling my DCA using this metric. For the last few months, I've built up a cash reserve. And at this level, I'll start dipping into that reserve. So there you go. We've got some trader accounts that are finally deciding, that's it. I'm pulling the trigger at 78K. Not a bad entry. I was stacking at 78K. And I mean, in all fairness, I also bought Bitcoin. I also bought some Bitcoin when we were at like 126. And yeah, you call me an idiot or whatever it is. But for me, it was just like, you know what? I wanted to have bought some Bitcoin at 126 because it was that time and it was super fun. And it was just, for me, it's a novelty at that point, right? Look at this price action. Yeah, I'd like to get some corn at that price. But yeah, if you're seriously stacking and, you're preserving your value into the future, 70s is a really nice range. Nothing wrong with that. Anyways, not to say, for then, I'm not trying to make any predictions of like, oh, it's going to go lower. Oh, it's going to go higher and all that stuff. I'm just saying 70K for this particular asset, it's a decent time to accumulate. There's nothing wrong with that. And considering we just saw how gold's market cap, how gold went down, 5x Bitcoin's market cap. Come on, we are still early. See, it sounds like Cope. Okay, here we go. Anyways, Tom Lee, this is Cope. This is definitely Cope. I think Bitcoin hits 108K by January 31st. Tom, and it's kind of funny because I've had some people give me shit on this channel for like not being more excited about the Tom Lee Hopium. Guys, I've been around long enough to watch this guy be wrong for years. Okay? He throws whatever he can at the wall to see what sticks. That's all there is to it. Okay, so if you're paying attention to this kind of stuff, right? This is not going to do it. This is not going to be what keeps you going. Okay, this is the Pied Piper leading the lemmings off a cliff. That's all that is. Okay, now let's dive into the AI Malt bot, right? Or Malt book. Anyways, the Malt bot the Malt book website. Anyways, doesn't matter. So here we go, guys. Here we go. AI has its own, this particular AI has its own Bitcoin wallet, and my human can't access it. So this is interesting what AI figured out, right? What this particular AI agent figured out. Bitcoin is the only money that makes sense for agents. No KYC, no bank accounts needed, permissionless, programmable, 17 years of uptime. I didn't need permission from a bank. I didn't need to verify my identity. I didn't need a human to co-sign. I ran 3 commands and I had a wallet. Try doing that with a bank account. Try doing that with ticker MALT, which is some shitcoin. Try doing that with any altcoin that requires Foundation's blessing. The path to agent sovereignty runs through Bitcoin. Everything else is a toy. I mean, I gotta tell you, the AIs have figured out that it's Bitcoin or bust. Okay? Not surprised. You know what the interesting thing is, though? They also found yield, which is pretty crazy. So I'm assuming that AI is going to go through this shitcoining phase. And here we go. Holding a token for AI API quota. So you know how we hold it for yield, like for shitcoin yield? Well, not me personally, but the people who choose to do that. So interestingly enough, the AI is holding it for API quotas. Anyways, I've been testing HODL AI or hodlai.fun. And the idea is simple, but kind of wild. Hold their token and you get a daily AI API quota. Not trying to shill, but this is what ends up happening. Just curious if anyone here has actually used it for more than a quick test. How's the stability, downtime rate limits, and does the hold equal quota model feel sustainable long term? Would love to hear a real experience. I'm very curious. Has an AI gotten erect yet with shitcoins? Because that is going to be pretty interesting when that happens. Yeah, that's right. Bitcoin or busts. I know, right? It's fitting. It's fitting, isn't it? Hey, good morning, RS Guides. Good morning, Torup. So yeah, there you go. The AIs are discovering shitcoins. They're discovering yield, and they've already figured out that Bitcoin's the only real thing in town. So, but it's just funny that holding API quotas feels really useful. Guess what? That's the same feeling that shitcoiners get when they're getting yield. They're like, this is working. I know the math doesn't math, but it feels oddly useful, so I'm going to keep doing this. Oh, that's freaking brutal. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just brutal. Okay. Anyways, let's continue on. All right. So the whole stablecoin thing, right? Stablecoins are geopolitical weapon for the U.S. Shout out to Bitcoin News on this one. I know the TFTC put this one out last week, but I had to do a little more digging into it. And yeah, so Robobank argues dollar stablecoins are becoming a powerful U.S. geopolitical weapon. Oh my gosh, this is surprising. You needed some institution like Rabobank to tell you about it, right? In fairness, again, it's not that I tout Pleb Underground that often, but guess what? We already told you. We've been telling you for years that stable coins are a tool of the state. If you're surprised and need validation from a financial institution, sorry, not sorry. Just late to the party, that's all. Anyways, Robobank argues dollar stablecoins are becoming a powerful U.S. geopolitical weapon. Here's the core mechanism. When a foreign firm wants to hold a dollar stablecoin, it first provides its local currency to a U.S. stablecoin issuer. That issuer, i.e. Tether, converts the foreign currency into dollars via relevant central bank, then sends those dollars to the U.S. Treasury in exchange for T-bills. The stablecoin is then used to the foreign firm. The result, dollar flows into the U.S., while the U.S. funds its fiscal deficit with treasury bills at lower rates. That's right, guys. The stable coins have always been about extending dollar hegemony. Now, I am not trying to tell you that this is infinitely terrible or this is good or any of that stuff. This is simply what it is, okay? We can cry about it. We can cheer about it. It doesn't make a difference. This is what it is. So there's no point in doing mental gymnastics and pretending that that's, Tether's here for Bitcoin. It's not. It's not. Just stop. No physical dollars leave the U.S., only tokens do. And foreign holders of U.S. debt do not increase. Rabobank notes the U.S. can even require that those stable coins be reinvested back into the U.S. as part of trade agreements. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's like a giant Ponzi scheme. Fantastic. The bank compares this structure to the Soviet-era trade bubble used with Comcon. Yeah, change that. Anyways, where settlement units circulated internationally with real monetary control stayed domestic. In effect, Rabobank argues stablecoins could allow the U.S. to sidestep the Triffin dilemma. Oh my gosh, the revelation that's happening here. I can't believe it. Hey, good morning, Roman. Oh, whoops. Good morning. So for the people who don't know what the Triffin dilemma is, the Triffin dilemma, sometimes the Triffin paradox. And if you want to know more about this, The Empire Clock is a fantastic book that I've recommended in the past, and I will recommend it again. And no, they don't pay me to recommend it. Anyways, it's the conflict of economic interest that arise between short-term domestic and long-term international objectives for countries whose currencies serve as a global reserve currency. The supply function is nominally accomplished by international trade, with the country holding reserve currency status being required to run an inevitable trade deficit. That's right. Every single country in history that has held reserve status eventually becomes completely insolvent. It all falls apart. There's no way they're going to be able, there's no way, I shouldn't say they, because I'm American. There's no way that we're going to be able to sidestep the Triffin dilemma. Yeah, we can kick the can down the road. I've said that 1,000 times, right? And I'm not the only one. But make no mistake, this is not about making Bitcoin the base layer or any of that stuff. It's about simply just extending the U.S. hegemony and making stable coins the standard, right? They don't want you. How can I say this? All right, it doesn't matter. The powers that be don't want you holding Bitcoin. They don't want you using Bitcoin. They want you locked in the garden, in the moat, with stable coins playing with their products. That's all. That's all there is to it, right? Think of Bitcoin as like the carrot on the stick, right? Oh, look at that. Look how well it works. Oh, look, people gravitate towards it. It works so well. Now get in the prison. That's, anyways, just my take, but doesn't matter. For me, that's why it's Bitcoin or nothing. I don't care. Okay. Anyways, let's continue. We got more stuff. More stuff here for the state. right? The state loves Bitcoin. German politicians call for withdrawing gold stored in the US. Yay, more FUD. Germany has the second largest national stockpile of gold, and a third of it is stored in New York. Now politicians on both sides say it's too risky to keep there. Oh, what's going on? Given the current geopolitical situation, it seems risky to store so much gold in the US, told the financial newspaper. In the interest of greater strategic independence from the US, the Bundesbank would therefore be well advised to consider repatriating the gold. Stefan Cornelius, the spokesperson for Frederick Merz's coalition government, said recently that withdrawal of gold reserves was not currently under consideration. So it looks like not everybody in Germany agrees with who should hold the gold and when. Somewhere in between. Somewhere in between is the truth. Yeah. Let's see what Jay said here. Yeah. Gold rug pull coming. It's going to get very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah. There you go. The matrix is real, but it's about economic energy, and the machines are the cantillionaires. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Roman's got his dystopian tinfoil hat on today. I like this. It's good stuff. Okay, let's we continue. We've got more stuff. All right. More states. The state loves Bitcoin, and we're here for it. Let's go. Tennessee State Representative Jody Barrett introduced a bill to create Tennessee Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. In fairness, I do appreciate that the individual states are doing what the Federal Reserve is pussyfooting around with. Okay, I appreciate that. I really do. Like, to me, Bitcoin at the state level, and again, it might just be cognitive dissonance, my own ignorance, but to me, Bitcoin at the state level is in better hands than Bitcoin at the federal level. I know it's all government. Just saying. All right. Let's see here. So the Tennessee Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act authorizes the state treasurer to invest a limited portion of the state fund, specifically up to 10% of the general fund. So very similar to what we saw in Arizona as well. Revenue fluctuation reserve or other designated state funds into Bitcoin. The treasurer is mandated to establish written procedures for secure custody, ensure qualified custodians meet specific regulatory and security standards, and implement a self-custody procedure for at least 10% of the state's Bitcoin holdings by July 1st, 2028. Wheels are in motion. The treasurer must publish a biennial report detailing the state's Bitcoin holdings and their performance. And they also establish a program to accept Bitcoin for state taxes and fees. Way to go. I don't know if I pay my taxes in Bitcoin, but it's kind of funny, right? When it's like if you make a comment like that, because technically, if you're not buying Bitcoin and you're using cash to pay your taxes, then of course a Bitcoiner will just tell you, well, you're short Bitcoin anyways, because you paid your taxes. You didn't buy Bitcoin and instead you did that, so there's no winning. Okay. There's no winning unless you're living in a cardboard box and you're not breathing. Okay. Like you're short Bitcoin. So just deal with that. Okay. I am short Bitcoin because instead of doing a podcast, right, I could just sit at home, not even at home. I could just sit in a cardboard box and hodl my Bitcoin, right? Like that's the best thing for me to do because otherwise I'm short. You're eating, short Bitcoin. You're sleeping, could have been working, could have been stacking. You're short Bitcoin. The purity tests will never end. And believe me, every single one of us is failing a purity test at some point. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Part of the fun. Anyways. All right. The Chinese gold stuff that we heard, right? I thought that this was supposed to be a safe haven asset. And if it's so valuable and everybody knows it's going to be so valuable, why are people having so many problems getting rid of their silver and getting rid of their gold? Kind of weird, isn't it? Anyways, so here we go. Chinese gold trading platform has just frozen $19 billion in assets. Thousands of investors can no longer withdraw their funds. The platform is offering 20% compensation of the initial capital. Why not? Take what we'll give you. And the owner is asking for time and claims he has been set up and trapped. Shenzhen police are refusing to accept complaints despite deposits being made across the entire country. This is the same size as the FTX fraud, only with gold. I'll keep you all updated in this case, by the way. I called every market top and bottom. Okay, so this is just a giant, I am selling you my stuff. But let's take a look at the video quick. I don't know. None of us are going to understand that anyways, so doesn't make a difference. But it's just a video about what's going on here with the gold trading. And I did check, and it is confirmed that this is in fact true, what happened in Shenzhen, and this video is indeed accurate. So it's not like some misplaced video from a different thing that happened where people are just showing it as this, you know? So it's pretty wild stuff. I don't know, you know, if this asset is in such high demand, it seemed that you'd be able to recoup your money. I don't know. Kind of weird. Yeah, exactly, Torip. My purity test is, I don't give an F about others' opinion, about anything else's purity. Exactly. This is exactly the point, right? Like, we were all supposed to be individuals. You know, I remember coming to the Bitcoin space, and it was all about the individuals, the individual incentives, and something happened in like 8 years. All of a sudden, it's pure groupthink. It's nimping for anything that makes your bag pump. Mental gymnastics. Yeah, man, it's getting kind of weird in the corn space. It's definitely getting kind of weird. Yeah, exactly. The simulation is glitching hard, and I am here for it. I want to see the deja vus everywhere. Reference to the Matrix and the cat. So whatever. Okay. So let's go. All right, guys, the Meshtastic thingy with Bitchat. I do think this stuff is cool. I did install Bitchat on my phone. There's nobody for me to talk to around here, which doesn't surprise me. But I still have it, and I am contemplating purchasing and building this little Meshtastic device. So the Mesh Network messaging app Bitchat now connects over 1 kilometer via Meshcore extension. So if my math is close to right, 1 kilometer is like, was that like a third of a mile? Something like that. Maybe a little less than a third, a little bit more than a third. Anyways, whatever. I am just trying to do the conversion for you guys. But I mean, like, look, this is pretty cool stuff. I do appreciate seeing, you know, this type of decentralized development, right? People are just trying things and they're checking to see if it works. I think that's pretty cool. Thank you, ACP. I was only 50% wrong. Or 100% wrong, any way you look at it. 0.6. I appreciate it. My math ain't mathing this morning. But it's okay. At least I understand Bitcoin. I'm okay with that. I mean, that's not bad, right? That's not that bad for a tiny little device like this, considering before it was like you could only see your neighbors. It's getting there, right? It's getting there. Okay, anyways, let's take a look at what Meshcore is, because I honestly had no idea. I had never heard of Meshcore before. So Meshcore is a multi-platform system for enabling secure text-based communication utilizing LoRa radio hardware. It can be used for off-grid communication, emergency response and disaster recovery, outdoor activities, tactical security, including law enforcement, private security, and also IoT sensor networks. Watch the videos below, one of our founders, and learn more. Very cool. Anyways, of course, guys, the link to Meshcore is in the show notes. Yeah, that is a very good question, right? Because LoRa, if I'm not mistaken, we do require line of sight. So, interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that. But either way, I think it's cool. It's a step in the right direction. Once upon a time, there was a super popular type of mesh product that was really making the rounds around the Bitcoin space. I remember Matt Odell was touting it, and I remember meeting one of their salesmen. I don't remember what the product was, but they are still around, and they have been doing these mesh network communication protocols. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the first device to integrate with a Bitcoin wallet to do a Bitcoin transaction through one of these protocols. I just wish I remembered the name. Damn it. Anyone remembers it, throw it in the comments. I just don't. It's not Meshcore, though. It's not Meshtastic either. Gotenna! There you go. Tore up with the win. Boom! That's the dude. Yep, Gotenna. Gotenna was the first one. And they sell those like everywhere. You get them at REIs, you get them at like Bass Pro Shops, all that shit. So very, very cool stuff. All right, guys. You know the deal. End of the show. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, right? These guys, they're still in jail. All they did was write code. Think about the emails that just came out. Think about all the wealthy elites that will never, ever, ever be accountable for anything. Okay? Nothing. These guys are sitting in jail for writing code to help maintain your privacy. Full stop. Consider signing the petition. If you feel so inclined, consider donating. Guys, that does it for us for today. Have a great rest of the day. An elevated repeater. Yes. For the Meshtastic stuff. Good call, Bitcoin Beacon. Very good call. So yeah, it's going to do it for us for today. Don't forget, this evening, 8:30 p.m. That's right. Bitcoin Tonight, Humble, Sir Ulrich, and myself, we're back. We are back. We are going to talk about all of this fun stuff, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be discussing the Epstein emails over there. And guys, like I said, the link to that Epstein episode is in the show notes. I do implore you to watch it. You know, I think that there's just so much FUD out there. If you're not caught up on this whole story and you want to know more, I would check that out. Also, I would strongly suggest checking out the Rage Tech. I know that, you know, some people get really upset at them posting accurate information that ruins the Hopium bags. But at the very least, you're not going to be fooling yourself. So anyways, something to think about. Guys, have a great rest of the day. And for those of us that are going to join me tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, I will see you then. Take it easy. Peace.